Grand Rising, everybody. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome to the live. This is your coach Renz. Today we are going to discuss how your life has turned out since leaving religion. Indeed, indeed, indeed. At least we're gonna start out that way. By the time we get 30, 40 minutes into this video, we ain't no telling what this subject matter may turn into, as that is our norm on this channel. I want to definitely let me wait till you get on first. Give about 5 minutes before we actually get started. Get my coffee and my cigar ready. Grand Rising, good people. Grand Rising, Morris. How you doing, sir? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I see we starting to get populated on here. I don't know if Ramsey is on here. I doubt if he's going to be on. He might, but I doubt it. Some of y'all may know of the guy Ramsey on Ramsey Black. Had a baby. His wife had a baby this morning. Little baby boy. Everything's going well. So congratulations to him becoming a father. We got a new little youngling in the house. Grand Rising Larry, Jeff, how you doing? Shalom. So I thought today I'm working on a larger topic. I was going to do it today, but I was like, nah, I'll be half-assing. So I can't do that today. I can't do that. I need to do a lot more research on that before I do it. Although I do want to make a correction from yesterday. I said I don't call it. I don't call this constellation that has the star Sirius in it Canis Major, because I felt that it was disrespectful to the fact that the Kemetic people called it a set. But in my research for something else yesterday and this morning, I come to realize that there were many cultures around the world, ancient cultures. I thought it was just the Greeks, but there was plenty of other North American cultures, Asian cultures, other cultures all around the world actually referred to the star Sirius as the dog star, long before they considered it the dog star. So that's why it's Canis Major. So I'll get off my little thing and thinking that they just trying to be disrespectful to the woman, but multiple other cultures called Sirius the dog star. So my correction in that one. Get off my high horse. Grand Rising Sheila, Michelle, how you doing? So I'm throwing it out there. I really want to hear. I really want to hear you guys' story, or like, how has your life changed since leaving religion? I want you to think about that. Like, has it gotten better? Has it gotten worse? I know that there's the growth, the down, and then the up. I'm sure most of us, you go through that period of time where you lose certain people in your life. You have to go through the process of getting over the fear of hell. And it's a massive change. You oftentimes go looking for some other religion to be a part of, or just walk away completely. But changing your whole thought process, changing your actions, how you do things, the difficulty of things that you have wanted to enjoy but you don't enjoy, or you never enjoyed because you were convinced that it was a sin to do whatever that thing is. Like, how are you now? Where it depends on what stage you're in. Sheila trying to get us off topic. We ain't got started yet. But this is from the Big Boy cigar line. It's a Dominican Puro. Goes great with coffee. It's called the Signature. But what kind of cigars? I smoke a whole bunch of different cigars. Just not. I don't smoke sweet cigars. Most difficult part is having conversation about it with others. Yeah. There's always that thing of being in a group or in a setting where people just assume that you're Christian, especially if you black. If you black in the South, they just assume that you're Christian. They don't even. They just assume you go to church, assume you worship Jesus. They just assume. Michelle had a refreshing transition. It was a huge relief. Awesome. Good. My transition wasn't as easy. It was a bit difficult. Grand Rising Takesha. Tashika. Sorry, Tashika. Mine was a little, even though I had a lot of family support, like my grandmother didn't, she supported me in my studies. But my family saw me inside and outside the church. They saw this, they assumed that some of them just assumed I was still just being Christian. It wasn't until I left and came back from Germany that they started realizing that I thought differently for the most part. But we never had any problem. My children's mom, she saw the whole thing from the time I was 15 and my progression and coming out of it. So it wasn't a big deal there. But I was always other people, other family members, other friends, the dude over here, people were accustomed to me debating with the pastors and all that. So, but it's them regular folks that got on my nerves, making their assumptions. So, but it was pretty smooth. And no, I don't practice any religions anymore. It's humanism for me. Nowadays, I like and are talking on that mindset. My eyes mess me up. Talking on that mindset for me. How about you go? Talking text. People said we're pagan and in a cult. Not smooth at all. Yeah, and see, people, it's the very people who are supposed to take me on that mindset. The very people who are supposed to show love are the very ones that show the most anger and hatred and bigotry towards you. Some people have a difficult time accepting it. Their reaction was dramatic. I've fallen away. You're going to hell. Right. The threat of hell is exactly right. They weaponize they weaponize the hell out of hell, right? Which is, they don't think that they are. They think that they're showing you love. When they come at you saying that you're going to go to hell, it's going to be, hellfire brimstone, you're going to be without God, it's going to be, so horrible and terrible, and it's going to be for all eternity, and it's going to be too late. For them, they think they're showing you love by trying to incite that fear in you. If I was trying to if I was a Christian and I was trying to keep somebody in or who was walking away, I wouldn't even mention hell. I would mention all the beauty. I try to look at all the beautiful things in your life God is giving you. I would focus on that sort of thing. I wouldn't focus on the hell part. I'd rather sell you on the benefit than try to sell you on the fear. But their tendency is to purely sell you on fear. Grand Rising Tommy, we are socially conditioned to believe in a God. Black people in America are culturally conditioned to be Christian. Yeah, we are. That's a problem. I just blew my fire out. That's a problem too, because when I tell here in the South, I tell a black person I'm not Christian. Well, not so much now, but they used to be like, what? Like it was like I just came and spoke to them in a whole new language. Like, what the hell? Like, how is that possible? How is it possible that you black, you American, and you ain't Christian? Those are like three things that go together. Like bacon, eggs, and grits. That's what you're supposed to be. So, right there, that was the strange. That's one of the most difficult things. And then I got to tell you, dating was terrible. Being a black man in Georgia and non-Christian, dating was terrible. Soon as you say that you not Christian, oh hell, it go downhill for the most part. What we're living in some plane as hell, and we just can't see it because we're not all seeing color. We're not all seeing because we know evil exists. What if we live on some plane as hell, and we just can't see it because we are not all seeing curses? Well, I used to think that, Will, because the Bible taught that the devil was cast down to the earth as his punishment. So if he was cast down to earth and the devil is the ruler of hell and the devil is the principalities is doing all the ruling here, then this would be hell. And I even went as far as to thinking that we are just the embodiment of the angels, the fallen angels that followed him. And then this is our opportunity to redeem ourselves, because I wouldn't accept that this deity, even when I was Christian, I wouldn't accept that this deity doesn't have a way of redemption for his first children, the angels. So I thought about that. And then after I left the religion, I was like, okay, we can still be on this. This could still be a plane of hell until I started studying the Hermetics and realized that there are multiple planes, and on every plane there are high and low vibrations. So there is no consistent, this is hell, no one place destination. There are high and low vibrations on every plane of existence. So just as in this biblical story, there was a war in heaven, there's a high vibration in heaven, there's a low vibration in heaven. There's a high vibration in hell, there's a low vibration in hell. But just all planes are going to have evil, as we would call it. Grand Rising Debbie, Grand Rising Kenny. Telling people that I see a completely different world than they do is about the best way to tell people about myself, not believing in their deity. I just tell them straight up, I'm not Christian. You know, after a while, you just start like, I'm not Christian. You don't like it already. You don't want to talk to me. Yeah, even in down south, if you say you're Islam, you'll get a side eye, but it's more acceptable for you to be Islamic than to just not be Christian. Yep, life is what you make it. Michelle just avoids all the Christians. She said, now I'm finding issues with Hebrew practices and contradictions with the scripture. I'm so ready to be a spiritual being and not attached to a religion. So you got involved in Hebrew Israelites because the Old Testament is deeply flawed. So it was seen. Yeah. So you're having issues because the Old Testament is deeply flawed. And Deuteronomy 28:68 ain't talking about the transatlantic slave trade. Grand Rising Texas Goddess. Grand Rising Teresa. There's no such place as Christian teach. Oh, there's no such place as Christian teach. Right, there's not. Yes, after the land slave trade and child slavery, that played a major role in the actual changing of our very own tradition, because Right, we wouldn't adopt the colonial traditions, just English traditions refined as they could put it. Yeah, I mean, it pretty much stole our ancestral religion, and so most of us followed in theirs because it was forced and by to them, and then so on and so forth to generations. Got your coffee and your dabs. O'Brien is living it. Kids at school, wife at work, got his coffee and dab. Got my cigar, my coffee too. Cheers, Brian. Michelle is very outspoken. Grand Rising Kenny said, "Little the kid got a new job." Grand Rising Sheila. We got two Sheilas on here now. Yep, sure do. Could hell have been created because when God split us into two, male, female, this had caused hellish conditions here because of our division between the two? Well, there is no God that split us into two. You know, for as far back as we'll ever be able to know, we've been male and female. Well, I ain't gonna say ever be able to know, but as far as we know right now, we've always been male and female, like most animals, most creatures on this matter plane of existence. Hell is going to be everywhere, just like heaven is everywhere. Uh, that's one thing. Remember, we covered in the Gospel of Thomas when it said that heaven, the kingdom of God is at hand. Right? It's right now. It's right in front of you. It's inside of you. It's outside of you. But so is the kingdom of heaven. I mean, of hell. It's everywhere. And no matter where you go in the universe, whatever dimensional plane, you will never escape it. Man, riding slipstream. My only fear of death is reincarnation. Yeah, because I don't want to come back. Like you like get on your nerves, like a kid who learned a new trick and just gotta run around town telling them. Yeah, they become more prevalent here in Atlanta. I'm starting to see them on the streets more. And they power, especially the ones in the Power Ranger uniform. You're starting to see more of them and out there with the yelling at people and stuff. Kwame, Grand Rising. Thank you. Appreciate that. Oh, thank you, Teresa. Listening with her father. VA. Grand Rising, Miss Nikki. Buenos dias. Buenos dias. Um, they even tried to say or boldly claim that the anti-hate, the anti-hate theism, or is a belief in religion. No, it's not a belief in religion. That's just deconstructing the religion or recognizing the idiocy of the religion. And it really comes down, and it's not to be rude, I'm not calling the people idiots, but the religion itself is idiocy. It expects you to believe in things that you know are scientifically impossible and that are scientifically inaccurate. Things that we can literally prove. The difference between heaven and hell is 18 inches, your head and your heart. I like that one. I'm going to steal that, Illumi. All right, I'll call you Illumi. I'm going to steal that one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the Grand Rising Mark. What part of Georgia are you in, Mark? But yeah, I could never. I could never even contemplate being a Hebrew Israelite. It is just too foolish and too angry. Now, not all of them, but the ones that you see the most, they're just angry as hell and all out there. Congratulations, Teresa. Why? Life is gonna be a lot of bit nicer now. Get that 100%. That's the awesome thing because you deserve it. You deserve it, Teresa. You deserve it. Grand Rising Dwayne, their way of debunking us is because the Bible or the Quran said. Yeah, I mean that's not proof at all. Ooh, I don't know where the hell Jefferson Georgia is. I'm in Stone Mountain. That's why I was asking. Yeah, the Bible literature itself is not proof. Literature has never been proof. Cannot be proof. You need more than literature in order to prove your book. Jesus was a rapper. He had the first ghostwriter, Moses. Ah, okay, that's up near Athens. Okay, not too far. Not far at all. Okay, but before got to get a little bit of the subject matter in. Have you found peace since leaving religion? I know a lot of people when they are involved in a religion, they you're stressed when you're in religion. Always worried about going to hell. Always need to go to church and get your good feel on. You're always stressing about, am I doing something that's outside of the character of a person who believes in this religion? Yeah. And it all relative to what group you're a part of. I knew a couple that believed that the only time they married, only time you had sex is when you want to procreate. Beyond that, that would be it's a sinful thing because Paul is saying you should only do it to the point of either having kids or to satiate your desire. I know people who wouldn't go, I can't go see that movie. Oh, I can't go to this play. I can't go to this park, or I can't go to this event or that event. You got your holy rollers who they wear the dress all the way down to the ankle, sleeves always up to the wrist. The kids can't play sports because of the attire, all kinds of things. That's stressful. Always on this checks and balances. But to be free of that and realize, for me, the thing is the only thing that is, if I wanted to have a thing called sin, is to not do what you want. As long as it doesn't interfere with somebody else's happiness, do whatever the fuck you want to do. You don't take away somebody else's rights. Do whatever you want to do. You want to walk, you want to wear some short skirts. You want to walk around shirtless because you got so what? You only have to have the modesty that you desire for yourself, and that is for the people around you. If you respect the people, if the people around you are, how do I put this? If you're just being conscious of the people, how they may feel, the ones that you actually care about their opinion. That's a long way of saying it, but yeah. Oh, I want everybody to say congratulations to Ramses Black. He just became the father of a young man this morning, little baby boy this morning. So congratulations, Ramsey. You say your family, y'all were chosen to break your family generational indoctrination. Yeah, I understand that. Follow your instinct, being true to yourself. It feels terrific, good. Nothing but roses, personal peace, grand rising to Haven. It's the best thing you ever did. Happier, peaceful, tranquil. Yeah. It's Mike is getting support from people every day. That's awesome. I had a weightlifter when I stopped studying with the Christians years ago. Oh, I've never met a Christian. But yes, it's, I don't think, people, one of the things that the church people try to do is, today is a great day, Grand Horizon. So what is today's date? The 3rd, November 3rd, 2023. Little baby boy was born. It's interesting how much peace people wind up getting to, you know, if you follow through with the path, if you learn how to deal with it, to get to that point where you don't care what other people say. And then you go and you live your life how you want to live it. Just think about it. That's other than my laptop messing up on me. That's what took me so long to get started today. Because I was just sitting there and I was just like, this is such a peaceful thing. Had a whole nother subject I was going to talk about. But I was like, it is so peaceful. Like, I was recognizing the inner peace of not having to deal with the stress of religion. And also just not having to deal with every Sunday you got to go to church, you got to go to Bible study on Wednesday, you got to, these regimented things that they have, and you got to give other people your money, not because you desire to do so, because it's being forced on you. Your how you talk and how you live your life. Oh, you smoking them cigars, sinful. The majority, yeah. Well, so I don't know. It's kind of interesting. So the majority of my, okay, so the older people in my family, the majority of them are still Christian. Most of the people in my family are fence. I would call them fence straddlers. They're not holy rollers. I'll say they fence straddlers. And then you got like a lot of the younger ones are starting to walk away from it. But I don't like pushing. I just let them see how I live, and they ask me questions, then I give them answers at that. Yeah, give me the money while I yell at you and tell you a fairy tale. Sitting here at work, just got invited to a new birth church so that I can get into the fold. You can go to New Birth by yourself. Mm-mm, I will not. That's funny. I'm gonna stay and learn how to deal with friends and family who don't want to let go, and the ones who think their lives are going to crumble or fall apart. The best way I can say that, I let them see. I let them see how my life is. You know, they haven't seen my life struggle or crumble other than when they see me make some dumbass decisions. If I make a dumb decision, they're like, okay, that happened in his life because he made a dumb, because that was stupid, not because of some deity. It's a dumb decision that I made. Lumi's just I smoke. See, that's that Puerto Rican eating. Smoke weed, cigarettes, and cuss Christians out, and and it's still fuck Jesus on this Good Friday morning. I ain't met a Puerto Rican woman yet who is not. If you rub her the wrong way, she you gonna get your ass. What are your thoughts on the idea of having religion, of on the idea that religion has a positive effect on the mental state? I don't think that religion, the 90% of the religions do not have a positive effect on your mental state. We can gain our morality is gained through our cultural norms. It is not gained through religion. Believing in having this false hope of a heaven through a religion, I just don't agree with it. I think it's more negative on your mental state. If people were allowed to be free and express themselves how they choose, but just have the one golden rule: treat others how you want to be treated, I think we would be a much healthier society, and people would be in a much more healthier mental state. No, they commit the same one. That's why I did that video of that lady singing a Christian song in the bar, and all them holding up their liquor, celebrating it. So the best witches sit on the front crew, or their mother's body. Ooh, some cackling hens. Yeah, friends and family, Grand Rising to make, they can be your biggest critic. Um, Fortunately for me, mine were not. It's other people. Actually, I didn't really start receiving a whole bunch of criticism until I supported Kevin. Uh, when I came to bat for Kevin 8 years ago, then I started getting a whole bunch of criticism. Other beyond that, I was living low key. Was it easy for me? It was easy as far as dealing with other people was easy. Dealing with myself was hard. I was trying to come up with every theory, every possibility, every reteaching in order to stay Christian, right? You know, throughout my youth, teenage years, early adulthood, I was really trying to figure out how to stay Christian. Uh, I was not trying to walk away from Christianity. I needed it to fit, to make sense, to work, you know. So I was dead set on trying to make Christian. And then every time I find out something that made me realize that things were wrong, I was trying to figure out how to curtail that right back in it. So now I was struggling because I wanted Christianity to be right. The biggest struggle was for me, and there was nobody pushing me to do it. I wanted it to do. I had a deep desire to be Christian. I wanted I wanted to believe it. I wanted to know it was real. The only belief I have in religion is that it's simply there so that you don't kill the rich. Uh, that's the only belief I have. I still don't think we would kill the rich if we didn't have religion. Uh, yeah, it is torment to tell a child that they're going to hell. Yeah, it's all a state of mind. Yeah, like, and I've seen people take their children to see that whole like Passion of the Christ. I'm like, what are you doing to your child? Like by taking them to see that. Yeah, but chasing that truth, that's the most difficult part because you want your preconceived ideas to be the right one. So to accept that what you have been taught is incorrect. And then here's this pastor who, oh wow, he got a degree in engineering and he went to Dallas Seminary and got a degree from there. And here's this person with a PhD, and you know, you're supposed to be able to trust these people. You know, um, nothing against my family, but I never was that academia wise. I never looked at my family as you know that. My family grew up. My parents, my grandparents, good country people. Back in the day, my mom dropped out of school in the eighth grade to sixth or eighth grade to help the family financially because she was the oldest. You know, we wasn't a whole lot of academia going on in my family. Now they could read and write, of course, and all these sorts of things, but you know, they was like, we working to live. Watching my grandfather start a construction company, he couldn't read a blueprint, kind of thing. That's the kind of people I grew up with. You know, they just lived and they was Christian, and I could probably say they probably never read the Bible in its entirety. Matter of fact, I know they didn't because they were all like shocked and amazed when I was 12 and they found out that I spent that entire summer at 12 years old. I read the Bible from front to back 3 times. And they was shocked that I actually read the whole thing. But I really wanted to believe it because my family believed it. My grandma, the people I respected the most, my grandmother, my mother, my father, my grandfather, my uncle, the aunts, the pastors, except for Pastor Young. But all these people I respected, they all believed in this. So I wanted it to be real. Only to find out that the more and more I studied, the more unlikely it was to be real. And I also knew that one day I was going to have children. And I'd be damned if they were going to start out with the truth. Plain and simple. Start out with the truth. Not have to go through all that bullshit. I never was a religious person, grew up in practice, but deep down in my soul, it never really fit. Recently, I had a spiritual awakening, and everything is so much more calm and peaceful for me. And when I dream of the numbers that was letting me dream of the numbers that was letting me know that I was going to the right direction. I've always been spiritual, but I am more now. The best thing I can do in my I understand, Takesha. But I was religious. I was religious as hell. I was showing up with church. I was almost Kojic. I was damn near Kojic level. When the Kojic revivals would come, I'd be down there too. Because I was thinking the Kojic kids always caught the Holy Ghost. So at an early, I wanted to catch it, but it had to be real for me. It wasn't going to be like, I'm not going to fake it. I had to catch it. I had to, all that shit. I've never, I've had some emotional moments, but I've never caught the Holy Ghost in that sense that these jokers be running around and jumping and all that shit. You know, it's this girl named Mahalia. Mahalia could sing her ass off. And if Mahalia starts singing, her singing could create that emotional response where you felt it. But it's her singing. I always ask, have you actually read the book? People like to say that, and then they've never read it themselves. Being the only atheist at the family reunion in the South. That's a struggle right there, all in itself, my brother. That is a struggle. Yeah. The Christ with the crown around his head, it's also a representation. It's the sun. He's the sun god. Oh, you was raised Pentecostal? Pentecostal, that's too much energy. All right, singing and music creates an emotional response from the vibration, you know, the frequency it can get you. Wow, you left at 5, no deception there. Dad was a minister for 60 years. I don't find that strange, Jose Grand Rising, because sometimes when you are a PK kid, you see your parents up there on that podium and doing all the other stuff. Then you see them at home, and it might. And I don't know if this is your story, but I've talked to a lot of PK kids who walked away from religion, and their thing is, the person they see at the church is totally different from the person that's at home, and that's one of the reasons why they start investigating and walking away. Oh, Jehovah's Witness. So did your whole family excommunicate you? Or you're considered an apostate and they don't deal with you no more? Yep, that's the other guy who enlightens and illuminates. I don't know. Nobody in Pennsylvania would be calling me. But that's why you put Illumina in front of your name. Gotcha. Because you're enlightened. I figured that's what it meant. I figured it meant to illuminate, that you're illuminated. Oh, LaQuinn was Catholic from my younger former years, then Kojic for a while. That's a shock from Catholic to Kojic, from to That's some shit there. Your dad had children by 7 women. Yep, that'll do it. You only have your son. See, I hate that in the Jehovah's Witness they do that. They completely disband from you. But I mean, that's just the way. I know a guy. He dated a girl who was Christian. She was Baptist, and he was Jehovah's Witness. And they threatened to kick him out the family. If they were going to kick him out the house, he was still in high school. They were going to kick him out the house and just totally like bye, because he was dating a girl who was Christian. For me, trying to debate someone about the Quran and then having to admit I didn't even know or read the Quran. When I read it for myself, I had to swallow that pill of being lied to by those and say they love me and myself. When I read it for myself, I had to swallow that pill of being lied to. Also, people lied. So people lied to you about what was in the Quran. They're gonna do that one. That's why you have to study all these books for yourself. Barack Muhammad is Kojic. I don't know who Andrew called it. I'm a universalist, Grand Rising Amber. I'm engaged to a guy that is Catholic and Muslim. How the hell is he Catholic and Muslim? I ain't never heard of that one. His Muslim family keeps trying to force us to convert. By Islamic law, a man can marry a woman of a different faith, but a woman cannot, which is why I think they want me to convert so badly. How can he be Catholic and Muslim though? That don't even match. So, I plan on doing, Amber, I might need you to be able to tune in and go live with me, because I plan on doing something to that effect, a show where it's, or talking about the fact of somebody doing that, married, 2 people who are together with different faith, and how it works. Can it work? Yep, Christians are the first one to do spell work, pull cards for them. Oh yeah, the Christians will come and ask to do. They'll do tarot cards like a champ. They'll do readings like a champ. Chrislam. All of them holy books have the same type of story, just different players, pretty much. I'm sorry, but Catholic and Muslim, respectfully. Yeah, that's his mom is Brazilian, so she's Catholic. His dad is Algerian Muslim. So his mom still practiced Catholicism while she married to her Muslim man. Most of the witnesses don't believe in blood transfusion because they said the blood is poison. If our blood is poison, we would all be dead. I think it also has to do with not absorb. I think it has more to do with not absorbing. And I forgot who said they grew up Jehovah's Witness. Debbie might be able to correct me on this one. That you're not supposed to take in the blood of another animal or a person. So by doing a blood transfusion, you're taking in the blood of another person. Not so much that it's poison as it makes you completely unclean. That's why they have to drain the blood out of animals before they can eat them to make them kosher. But there's an impossibility to drain all the blood out of an animal. It's still gonna be some microscopics in there. But I think it has more to do with being clean and unclean. He's Muslim, but his mother was Catholic. Okay, I got you. The peace of I think the peace of mind that comes from me was personal responsibility, knowing that my fate is my own. That is an awesome peace of mind, knowing that your fate is your own. It's not anybody else's. There's no controller out there that's dictating what happens to you. That's one of the things that I love about understanding the Hermetic alchemy is that it's all my mental. It's all me. There's nobody else. There is not even, if there is a God, a deity at all that manifested everything, it ain't even it. I still am the controller of my conscious energy and what happens after I leave this form. So I love that part. So you started questioning things when there was a Rolls Royce at the state meeting? Yeah, I would start questioning that too. You got a whole bunch of people living poor and you rolling rich. I always tell Christians everything is witchcraft except for the magic that you do. The magic you do is the only thing that's not witchcraft. So he chose Catholic with some other tendencies, like not eating pork. Now, I've won over some of his family with my moral values, but the larger family isn't as evolved. The thing about it is, fuck them. And I mean to say it that way. They're not going to be living in the house with you. You're not pledging to live the rest of your life with his family. And he should understand this too. Y'all are trying to pledge to live the rest of y'all life together. Family members leave your ass. Mothers, fathers, children, brothers, sisters, all of them will leave you. Your job will go on without you. That person is the only person that's saying that they want to be with you for the rest of life. So the only person you should be concerned with, in my opinion, which is right on this instance, is the two of y'all. If he ain't willing to do that, I'm gonna say it the way I'm gonna say it, and to hell with him too. But you gotta be willing to say, all right, it's us, it's me, me and you against the world. Me and you versus the world, and that includes everybody. If a person can't have that mentality, I'll be like, Oh, you gonna let your kids mess up what's going on in here? Here's the door. You gonna let your mama, your daddy mess up what's going? There's the door. You gonna let your coworkers mess up what's in here? There's the door. You gonna let some friends mess up what's? There's the door. Get the hell on. You gonna let some immaterial, made up deity interfere with what's going on in here? There's the door. Just like she can find another me, I can find another her. There's plenty of us's out there. I used to not believe that, but there's plenty of us's. So it's just finding the right us. And if you got the right us, then they will understand that it's the two of y'all. And fuck the rest of them. Yeah. The Bible is not 100% allegorical, Jose. Uh, that Old Testament, they wrote it, they believed that that was literal. That was literal, literal, literal. New Testament writers thought the Old Testament was allegorical, and now Christians, people today, think that the whole thing is allegorical. Isn't that interesting how it flows that way? But it's not allegorical. I look at things how the people believed it when they wrote it. Supposed to get a parish tax free. That's the only reason I created a religion, for the tax benefit. Create like a church, a temple. I wouldn't create a church, I'd create a temple for the tax free benefits. Great thing about Islam that most people don't know, in order for my male friend to enter my house, my mother and my sister must let him suckle on their breast 5 times so they won't sexually attracted to one another. What? Now I've been to many people's houses when I was in Saudi Arabia. I didn't get to suck on no titties. What are you talking about, the Haven? There was no offering of the breasts. I'm mad. There's some people owe me some titty sucking. I'm just joking, of course, but didn't nobody offer me that when I was in Saudi Arabia or Dubai or Bahrain or Qatar or Kuwait. I didn't get offered none of that. I'm mad about that one. No, I haven't seen Kill All the Brutes. You got 4 brothers, one stop speaking because of belief. Cool, good. Grand Rising RG. Oh, you got a new job, can't touch your phone. I understand. What does Grand Rising Comedic Confucius? What does the Bible represent to you from a historical perspective? Propaganda for a new tribe called Hebrews and Israelites to create a story for themselves by co-opting other people's stories with very little about their own story. But it's like, yeah, they're creating their own history, their own propaganda to uplift themselves. There was no such thing as a Hebrew until 1200 BCE. So they came out of the Bronze Age collapse. When some groups reorganized and they just became one of those reorganized groups. So it's kind of like how the Romans would create their own antiquity by attaching themselves to Greek antiquity. Uh, they attached themselves to Sumerian, Kemetic, Phoenician antiquities, Canaanite antiquities to manifest their own history. Yep. If you ain't got the same frequency as me, I can't rock with you. Actually, me and Angelina was talking about that yesterday in a part of a larger discussion we was having. We was talking about the fact that how hard it is for me and her as a couple to meet another couple and we all match. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a difficult thing. I can say like throughout my life of that's happened very few couples that I know that where it was a complete match. So that it's hard to get that tribe. Jehovah's Witness came by your door, you looked at them and said, "Hello, family." They waved back and asked, "Are you Jehovah's Witness?" I said, "Yes." His name was Jehovah, and we are witness. We all have a story to tell about him. He's still God. I don't believe in a religion. Grand Rising, Carolyn. So you're a Jehovah's Witness, Carolyn? I'm confused. Or you just messing with them people? Grand Rising, Marguerite. It's a hadith. I'm gonna have to call my Muslim guy and ask him about that one, Haven. Because I ain't getting no breast offering. Yeah, that book is horrible. Shebrew's just like y'all didn't know Angelina is a Shebrew because she brew coffee. Ha ha ha! Dad joke. What is a witness? Okay, I'm lost on what you were saying, Caroline. I got to okay, let me decipher this. A group of Jehovah's Witnesses came to my house the other day. I looked at them and said, "Hello, family." They waved back and asked, "Are you a Jehovah's Witness?" I said, "Yes." His name is Jehovah, and we are witness. We all have a story to tell about him. He's still God. I don't believe in a religion. And okay, I got it. Mess with folks. I had to storyboard it for me to get it. Yeah, a lot of us are lost, but we are waking up like champs in droves, and that's the beauty of it is that so many are waking up. Your husband want to meet me? Come on, see, I was when you said y'all when you I think yesterday you said something about Peachtree City. I was like, oh hell, gonna meet this man and his very energetic woman. Uh, but y'all in Florida, but I'm sure at some point we can do that. Somehow, paths will cross. I plan on meeting all y'all. My wife is from Ghana, and she is deeply indoctrinated in Christianity, praise in tongues, the whole 9 yards. As a matter of fact, is a descendant of the Dahomey. Oh, Grand Rising Monte. Yeah, so I want to do this thing. How? So I've tried the I'm not Christian and they Christian relationships. Failed every time. But I can say it's like they failed because the falling started happening because of something else. And then the religion grabbed hold, like this is the final. It's like, oh well, he ain't Christian anyway. Nah, fool, you was acting like this and that. And then you started doing this, that, and the third. And then you want to jump on, well, it ain't a God's authorized relationship anyway. It's like kind of the way out at the end when I tell them, okay, I'm done. And then that's their way of being able to make it done in their own mind. Okay, I thought it was something like more like that. Thank you, Debbie. With the Jehovah Witness are against blood transfusion. Soul is blood, belongs to God. Gotcha. Exterminate all brutes. Okay. That provides a visually arresting journey through time into the darkest hours of humanity through the personal voyages, the construction of making the maximum of history, digging deep in the exploitative and the genocide aspect of European colonies and the Americans to Africa and the impact on the society, basically Roman Catholics. Okay, I had to check it out. Put it on the list. Ask them if they want to snort some coke. They'll never come back. Y'all crazy. I'm telling you. See, I haven't met Alumi's husband, but based on what I've seen of her and what I know of Angeline and myself, we would sit down here, crack open the bar, and smoke my cigars, me and Angeline. I let you smoke your weed. I think it'll be a good time. I think I have a good time with a bunch of y'all though, really. But she crazy in a funny way. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna ask him because he knows the history of Islam very, very well, and he's the most non-Islamic guy. I mean, he loves strippers, but his dad is like one of the most prominent imams in Georgia. Shit. So he can find it. Okay, I got you, Carol. Ooh, I'm falling behind. I'm falling behind. My wife is Ewe tribe, which history says are descended from the lost tribes of Israel. She has no European DNA. But what history says they're from the lost tribes of Israel? Because I have searched and searched and searched, and I have found no history that shows that the lost tribes of Israel migrated into Sub-Saharan Africa. Some Hebrews migrated into Ethiopia during the the early Roman Empire. It migrated into Ethiopia, into Egypt, into Sudan during the early Roman Empire. I have not found that the lost tribes. Most of the information that I found about those tribes the northern kingdom of Israel held the majority of the tribes. They were captured by the Babylonians and the Assyrians, then the Babylonians, then the Persians. And when they were released, they pretty much just got absorbed into the southern tribes of Judah. They lost because they got absorbed. It's not like they migrated. I haven't found anything that shows that they went to West Africa. Now, there are some people who adopted the religion of Judaism later, hundreds of years later in West Africa. People just be claiming shit. Like Haile Selassie, just claiming shit. I ain't got no proof of it. I'm just gonna claim that I come from the union of Queen Candace and Solomon. Yep, Age of Aquarius. Things are being broken down. Oh, because I'm gonna do a video about Gobekli Tepe because some new info came out. Yeah, we're gonna break all that down. Gobekli Tepe gonna change. It's changing some things. And it's funny. I just talked about that yesterday. I'm very open to new information. What did those who were human trafficking in America believe before the indoctrination into Christianity? It depends on which Native American tribe, but most of them can be categorized into like their spirits. The animals got spirits. They have spirits. Then a lot of them had sky people or pre-existing civilizations. My husband is a Gothi of the Asher True kindred, and he's more knowledgeable than me. We are spiritual anarchists. I'm sure I'm saying Gothic. I want to say Gothic. There's no C at the end of that, so I don't know Gothi. Wait a minute, we talked about this before. Isn't that like the Norse mythology, the Norse religion? Odin, Frigga, all of them. We're talking Moors? No, they were not Moors. There's zero evidence that Moors ever came to the Americas. They conquered, and Moors are mixtures. You could be Arab, you could be Caucasian, you could be Sub-Saharan African. You could be a whole bunch of different groups of people and be considered Moors. Moors like was a banding of people together. And no, they didn't. They didn't come to over here. They was kicking Europe's ass. But Moors, people be claiming that too. Oh, I'm Moors. Prove it. Prove it. Show me your family line paperwork. Show me something other than your words. A divorced Muslim woman must marry another Muslim man, and them too much. And then too much drink each other's, and then they must drink his juice for the woman to remarry her first husband. Okay, it's a little creepy. I read that book a long time ago, but I don't mind rereading books. I like rereading books; refreshes the memory. But yeah, how to create the Negro Christian. Yeah. That talking text be messing you up, don't it, DeHaven? Because I know it might be messing up. Oh yeah, there's a oh man. Pretty much go just to give you a little bit. Okay, Gobekli Tepe is just the tip of the iceberg. It's whole actually a whole city, a whole big ass city that was created. It spans uh, like more than 60 miles. Okay, north, gotcha. Some things we will not know because it's passed down through oral traditions, knowledge staying within the tribes. True. Some things are just going to be oral tradition. Grand Rising Denise X. Yeah, Moors is a whole big blending. The only thing I find interesting about the Moors is I'm waiting to meet some Moors person who did the paperwork, and they got all this money they always talk about they're gonna get, and they have all these rights that they have the diplomatic immunities and all those sort of things. And they be always talking about it, and they always say I'm in the process. I'm in the process. I ain't met not one person who got it done. You believe that all the black folks in America came from slavery, or do you think all those people were indigenous here too? I think the overwhelming majority of them came from Africa. Uh, there is the history of the initial, the secondary, the initial chattel slavery was indigenous people, but that didn't work out, and so then they started importing people in the 1600s. But once they started importing from Africa, that was it. You know, they weren't making the indigenous, and hell, the indigenous were buying slaves from Africa as well. But the majority of them went to the Caribbean and South America. But all these people telling us we were already here, we were already here. Most of the indigenous people on the East Coast, especially, got wiped out through disease and through warfare. And then them motherfuckers started buying African slaves. So, cool. I like those DNA things. No, Brother Panic died yesterday. Didn't know that. I I kind of stopped paying attention to some of those people that I originally was connected with. I happened to come across Young Pharaoh again like 2 days ago. Uh, yeah, Mansa Musa. To hell with him. I mean, I appreciate what he did. That he, what he as big as he became, richest man. You know, establishing schools and all that. But he was a super devout Muslim, and then participated in that Trans-Sahara. No, no, Lumi. There were no people during Pangea. The Homo sapiens and the hominid wasn't around until about 194 million years after Pangea had already split. Mm-mm. Grand Rising Marcus. Exterminator. Okay, I'll check it out. Thank you, Takeshi. Brother Panic died. I'll be damned. What did he die of? Like, what happened? How do you account for the Olmec civilization if there were no black people here? Well, by the time you get Europeans getting here, the Olmecs had already left. But understand, there were migrations of people long before anybody ever, before our more recent modern history. So you had migrations of people. You had other people who were seafaring. Europeans weren't the only ones who were traversing the oceans. They proved that the Kemetic people boats could traverse the ocean. The Polynesian people boats were coming to and trading with the people who were here in the Americas. There have been multiple ice ages that allowed for larger land bridges. The oceans was 400 feet lower, so there was more land, which allowed for easier. So let's say, for shits and greens, prior to the Younger Dryas flooding, so we're looking like 8,000, 9,000 years ago. Yeah, 9,000, 10,000. About 10,000 years ago. When the sea levels were 400 feet lower. And let's say the land of Mu was in existence. That means that from India, not India, but from the South Pacific, all the way over to Easter Island, all the way over to Japan, all the way up to Hawaii, was a huge ass continent. People could, and if you look at where Easter Island is, you can sail from Easter Island to South America, Central America to North America. It's not that big a deal. But even if that's not real, Polynesians have shown that they have sailed to the Americas. Just like Africans, West Africans, had sailed to the Americans as well. I know a lot of people don't like that one, but then you got to be able to explain why Cortez, Columbus, both recorded that there were Africans already in Central America, and they were distinctively different from the other native tribes, the people that they met. As well as the fact that Ghana was trading gold spear tips with the people in the Caribbean and in Central America. So they ain't the only ones who got on boats and went places. They just didn't colonize and conquer. The so-called lost tribe mofos you lost. So you will tend to believe anything that validates your being, and that itself shows a gross immaturity and childish mindset. If you can't find purpose is one thing, yet biting off other folks' lineage is something that the Indo-European culture did from the 8th century and after, because their own culture was dying and being replaced by foreign influence and government. Choice was to convert or die. Off with the old days. Off with the old ways. Yeah. And that's what, when the people claiming all these heritage without any research or proof, is like, we're just going to claim it. Grand Rise Renee, you're always on time. Unless I'm getting ready to get off, you're on time. Are you trying to find out how he died? Okay. I always have to make sure I get the right person. There's Brother Panic, and who is? Because I always confused him with what's the one that got caught having sex with the daughter of one of his wives? That's Pharaoh. No, that's not young Pharaoh. That's is that Brother Panic? Yeah, I think that might be Panic. Polite. That was Polite. Thank you. Thank you, DeHaven. Right. Okay. So now I got the right people in my mind. That's Polite. So that's Panic. Okay. Gotcha. I'm surprised somebody didn't say York. Because he had the same bullshit too. If genetics can trace their genes back to a black woman, wouldn't that mean in the beginning the world was black all over the world? Um, yes and no. Uh, it, yeah, but there's still migration patterns, and then like we talked about yesterday, people adapt to their cultures. I mean, to their environments. Based on the longitude, latitude, and their diet. I was so disappointed with Polite because he and I had a few conversations back in the day, and this is before he became famous. So I was, but then Sinetta had said something about him messing with some kids back then, and so of course I didn't just plague him as guilty, but now it's like, okay, well, let me take a step back and get to know this, get to know more about him, watch him a little bit. Because I was very mindful about who I attached myself to back. Um, when I first got started with Kevin, Kevin was like, you know, introduced me to these different people. But I was like very, when Sonetta said that, I was like, oh, okay. Well, I don't really know this man, so I'm not going to say he's guilty, but you know, there's his story, her story, and somewhere there's a truth. Let me try to identify it. So I just kind of never, but then I just kind of like I backed off and everything from everything and just was doing my own thing. So I was just like, because a couple of them brothers just rubbed me the wrong way. But I listened to them. But good, because they would still have some good information. Your friend that saved you from the Nuwapians exposed them to, yeah, that fool he needed to be. I find trying evidence on what my grandparents thought about our heritage, um, but it has been a failure. What did they think about your heritage? You said birds of a feather. Yeah, that is why most of the time it was Kevin and Jamar. Those were like the only two people that I was really dealing with was Kevin and Jamar Milton. I was like, rest of them. Because I like that Jamar was all about his family. So I was like, okay, I'm cool with Jamar. Not saying he perfect, but yeah, he seemed to be straight up. Yeah. Young Pharaoh, he was just too wild and young for me to deal with. Like he just, and then every third word was in this and in that and in this and in. You know, inward, 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 inward. And I was like, okay, I can't do this. That's just killing me. Yeah. All that knowledge for nothing. Are you talking about Polite or York? or panic. Halloumi. I can trace my line back to the British soldier who had stationed in Vancouver during the fur trade days after the War of 1812. My father was only as far back as his grandmother, who was born about 5 years after the Civil War. First from Virginia plantations and then to North Carolina settled communities in Salisbury. I know Salisbury. I've been to Salisbury. My kids' godparents are one of my kids' godparents is from Salisbury and moved to High Point, Mississippi. Oh, young Pharaoh looks cracked out. Mm, very disappointed with him. Grand Rising Surin. You got to watch it. Watch those. That's all about money and polite and polite put the money first. Thumbs up the videos, like the videos, send money to my Cash App. Sounds familiar. Sinetta. You know what also threw me off with Sinetta? Sinetta was like, he came out against Polite when they went down in New York first, and then everybody jumped on Sinetta, and then Polite, they dropped charges and they just dogging Sinetta. Then Sinetta became friends with Polite, and he was like supportive. Then when the shit went down with Polite more recently, a few years ago, then he was all like, first he wanted like, I told y'all. But then Polite wanted to do an interview with him, and he was all like, oh brother, they got these allegations against you and trying to be all friendly. But then when more information came out, I told y'all. I was like, man, you flip flop like a champ on this bullshit. I'm like, dude, just pick a lane. Oh, you're saying Polite and young Pharaoh had all this knowledge for nothing. Yeah, I think the money and too much, in my opinion, I don't know, too much drugs messing up young Pharaoh. How would you summarize Genesis of the Bible from a historical perspective? A copy of the Sumerian story and the Kemetic story, but mostly a copy of the Sumerian story is what Genesis is. You're just copying the Sumerian. Yeah, Polite he was smart, but can't mess with kids, man. Can't mess with kids. Yep. Let the truth just be the truth. Don't slide it. Have the position to be able to say when something is your opinion and when something is not, or your theory or whatever. You know, be transparent about that. You know, all skin folk ain't kin folks. You're gonna be disappointed some of them. Everybody ain't gonna be perfect. You know, I am far from perfect. But I'll tell y'all straight up, I whatever my imperfections are, they just are. You don't like them? Okay. Y'all be all right. But like yesterday, and this is so messed up that I can't remember the name, but brother man, he donated to the channel. That's fine. I appreciate it. But I always tell y'all, look, do I want are my channels monetized? Yes. Are there commercials in there? Yes. I do utilize this to grow it to make a living so that I can do this because this would be what I want to do for the rest of my life. I ain't got no shame in that. But I'm not asking y'all for anything but shares and that sort of thing. Shares and to subscribe. And am I going to take the money that I make off these platforms and travel the world, go to different sites? Because I can't wait to go to some of these ancient sites. Yes. Am I going to buy even better cigars the more I make? Yes. My thing is be transparent with it. You know, Just be transparent with it. And if people still want to follow your channel, they'll follow your channel. When I say he was on, okay, so for me, let me be clear, Renee, and for everybody. I don't have a problem with people smoking weed. I just think he smoked too much weed. There's a such thing as too much. You think Polite has dirt on Sonetta? Possible. Look like Jabari. Why does Jabari? That name sounds familiar. I think I've heard of that person. I'm pretty sure I've heard of Jabari. It sounds familiar. I know it's been mentioned to me before. Dr. Walter Williams. I'm not exactly sure who that is. Yep, everybody's perception perfect is different. I was told from the Geekers tribe from way before the Younger Dryas that said that Noah's family was our enemies and that we fought against the Templars later on. I can't prove the spoken word. The only thing about that I'll say is that Noah's family never existed. There's like no proof of Noah's family. Who would you identify as the creator god from the Sumerian Bible story? Well, the oldest creator from the Sumerian story, as far as Earth is concerned, the oldest creator from the Earth would be Namu, Namu and Apsu. Namu and Anu, sorry. Namu meaning the primordial. She was the primordial waters, and then Anu, who they created. Now, of course, in the Babylonian version, Marduk killed Tiamat to create the earth. So the story changes. You got 3,000 years of storytelling, and then depending upon what city state was in charge at the time frame, their story was more pronounced during that time frame. But the oldest one that I've seen would be the primordial waters of Namu combined with Anu, who represents the sky, and they created. As you should. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I sure am. It's like I don't like when I see homeless people, I don't usually give them money, right? Especially since I lived downtown Atlanta for a while, and I know them jokers, they know where to get all the food and all the water and so and Gatorades and all that stuff and blankets. They know how to run it. They know how to get all that stuff. But when I saw this brother say, I just want some beer. Come on, man, let me get you some beer. I appreciated his honesty. Get you some Cohibas? No. I'm not a big fan of Cuban cigars. The Monte Cristo, maybe, but I'm not a big fan of Cubans. Oh, your husband likes it? Illumi, we gotta hang out. We gotta hang out. You just clinched it right there. Me, Angelina, and your husband, we can smoke the cigars. You can have your little weed. We'll cover your smell. We good. Sit out there like the fire pit. We good. He smokes cigars. We already friends. Which is why I stick to my own tribe. I say as they travel this journey called labor life. That's all about nothing more, nothing less. And I'm definitely a forward-thinking. Yeah, I just want to go around the world and keep learning, man. Just keep learning and keep sharing it. I love teaching. He's a comedic person. He's on Saturday. He's one of the best ones. Okay. Oh, wait. Is he that? Is he a kind of a lighter caramel skin brother who takes people on to these trips to Egypt all the time? I smoke because I refuse prescription drugs. Been that way my entire life. I'm probably killing me slowly. Yeah, I ain't got a cabinet full of pills and bottles for every element. Yeah, I don't mind that people smoke. Shit, most of the people I know smoke weed. Hell, I got family members who smoke weed. He called Noah Marduk though. No, Noah is not Marduk. No, 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 no. Marduk has been merged with Ra, Baal. Is Ra, Baal, Marduk are supposed to all be one and the same, depending upon whose version of the story you tell. He's like 95 years old. He's sharp. Could be because a lot of the videos I've seen with this guy who's always taking people to Europe, to Egypt, seemed like those videos were shot like in the late 90s, early 2000s. But I look him up, Walter Williams. You know what? I forget that I'm only using one camera now, and I can actually use my phone. Dr. Walter Williams. Oh no, I've never seen this guy before. Okay. He looks distinguished. Walter Edward Williams. Now he's in my search. I can't say that they did more than we. I just know that he did before the show, after the show. Oh, this room down here, we smoke in this room. We got fans, we got air purifiers. We good. Cause it get. I know you in Florida. It getting cold up here right now. If all the things you talk about basically has nothing to do with religion, how are we supposed to live with each other? And from whence did it come? Yeah, you changed that last sentence up a little bit. I'd have had a different. I'd had something. I've been looking at you a little bit there. That last sentence. If all the things you talk about basically has nothing to do with religion, most of the things I talk about actually do have something to do with deconstructing from religion. How are we to live with each other? With the basic golden rule that was spoken of in Buddhism before it was said in Christianity, but it's a hermetic viewpoint of basically do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So if you don't want to be stolen from, don't steal. We could all live a very harmonious life if we only committed acts that we would want committed towards ourselves. It's the same way like in a relationship with a woman or a man. Most people love someone the same way that they desire to receive love. So even though that doesn't always work because you got to figure out a person's love language, but flip that into a daily life cycle with everyone that you deal with. I'm not going to be aggressive towards you because I don't want you to be aggressive towards me. I'm not going, I'm going to speak to you calmly because I want you to speak calmly towards me. So everything I do is how I want to be treated. I will respect you because I want to be respected. You see what I'm saying? So if we all live like that, then that would shut down everything. I don't want you to go to war against me, so I'm not going to go to war against you. If our leaders, if the world leaders thought that, there would be no war. I don't want you to cheat me on a resource deal, so I'm not going to cheat you on a resource deal. Then we would have fair trade. You see what I'm saying? Peace, live in peace, be one with, and that's what the Tao teaches. Just if everybody was in flow with nature, and the Tao even talks about leadership, that if the leaders led so well that the people didn't feel like they need leadership, then that's the best way to be a leader. That's the best way to lead, where the people feel like they did it all themselves. It's kind of like what the original writers of the Constitution were thinking by having small government and letting the people lead themselves, but only putting in regulations that would try to make things fair. Well, to keep things fair. But of course, the government grew and got too damn big. Have you ever considered the idea that civilization is originated out of India, Asia, Eastern Europe, or the Americas as opposed to Africa? I've considered it, but there is not enough evidence to prove it. And there's actually more evidence to prove that it came out of Africa. Now, for instance, one of the most recent, easiest ones is when the geneticists from China found out that the Asiatic people came from East Africa. Yeah. So I know you phonetically put that out there before, but I keep on saying it wrong. Asatura. Yes, that's how you say it. Asatura doesn't doesn't frown upon those principles if it's an act of survival or taking care of your kindred. That's how it should be. Like all of nature is in a flow of give and take, of working in unity with each other, sharing of each other's resources in order for each to grow. You know, the bees, the flowers, and the pollination, and trees with the carbon and the oxygen for with us and other animals. You know, everything's working in the flow the way it's supposed to. But there's a Native American saying, "No tree is so foolish as to that its branches fight against one another for sunlight." No, they stretch out and reach into their own direction, not trying to take from somebody else. I know it's wrong, but that's why I stopped looking. But something add something's add up, and if a sub, subject arises, I make a comment about it. And maybe you can help me to figure out what's correct and what's not. That's my goal. That's my goal, to try to figure out what's correct and what's not. Nope, it's not, but it's possible. Yet I never question where either way. Where either way, folks migrate is a different. Yeah, folks have migrated all over the place, and then there's been ice ages and other ice ages and asteroid strikes and comet strikes and all kind of thing that has changed civilization. So, and we got to the deeper we dig, the more shit we find out. But as of right now, the out of Africa theory is the one with the most evidence. Yeah, working with if we had if leaders just they ain't got to. The Tao is great with it, which is why I love that book, the Tao Te Ching. But working in unity, if look at this stuff that's going on in Israel right now. Israel is and the Palestinians. You know, is the problem is the religions. The religions are the problem. This is what's giving them the mindset that they can kill each other. But even in their disagreement and their unwillingness to share, still take on the mindset of, well, I don't want to be placed in a siege situation, so let me not put these people in a siege situation. I don't want to be bombed, so let me not bomb these people. I'd rather have a peaceful set of solutions, so let's seek out a peaceful solution. But humans just don't seem to get that yet. Maybe that will be the ushering in of the age of Aquarius, where people start thinking that way. These religions start dying out and going away, and people start realizing that these religions are poison. Like somebody said, is religion a healthy mindset? No, religion is one of the most unhealthy mindsets that we could possibly have, because look at how much damage religion is causing throughout time and history. Right? But then everybody has this favorable opinion about their history. With all this destruction and all this massacring, we still want to make it more favorable and pleasing. We fall for the propaganda. a lot of people don't see belief is in the way. Yeah, I don't want to be. I I don't want to be its. I don't want to be its a barrier, a stumbling block. Most certainly is as a being in the way. Like you know, one of the main reasons. Okay, there's two main reasons why I don't like the N word. One, it was used as a way to strip our ancestors of their heritage and who they are and dehumanize them. So why would I? So my thought process, I don't care how much people try to change it, it can never be a term of endearment for me. I so what it was originally purposed for, that's why I can't use it for that reason. And then number two, I don't want to be called that, so therefore I don't call anybody else that. So that's how we should think about it. And in the same way, I don't want to be since I don't want to be called that by someone who looks differently than me, then I won't call them a derogatory term, uh, or even try to use derogatory terms. Like what when people, oftentimes I'll correct people when they say, "Oh man, you Jewed me down on that deal." Like you do know that that's a derogatory term, or you know, uh, you gypped me on that, which is a derogatory term towards gypsies. A popular one when I grew up that I don't use, and I had somebody said it recently, and I just fell out laughing because I hadn't heard it in so long. But the term that cracker ass cracker, I don't use that term because I don't want them to use a derogatory term towards me, so I'm not going to use one towards them. Even when if I don't like them, they're acting like an ass, they're a racist or whatever. I'm still not going to use a derogatory term towards a racist because I'm not going to incite more back and forth. How is that Christians talk about how bad demonic spirits are in witchcraft, but when you go to some of the churches practice witchcraft in the church manipulate the members because it's that thought process. When they perform witchcraft, they're doing it for their God, so it's okay. But when you're doing it and it's not for their God, then it's witchcraft. Uh, when Christian women used to wear this symbol and put the symbol over their doors and over their babies' cribs, it was the protection of Mary over their child, over them, helping them to have babies. Like they wore this to help them have a child, to get pregnant. Witchcraft, right? Then after the Dark Ages, the church outlawed it. So it wasn't witchcraft, but then it became witchcraft again. And it was witchcraft, so it was witchcraft, then it wasn't witchcraft, then it went back to witchcraft. If it's for you, it's not. The only people that will claim they shit is witchcraft are people who claim to be witches. Homo erectus plus Neanderthal equal Homo sapiens. Now, that's a theory, that not a fact, but a theory out of African migration meets Asiatic hominids and also Indo-European hominids equal who we have on Earth today. Another theory, not a fact, yet another theory. Yeah, it's going to be hard because some archaeologists are saying that Homo sapien came out of Africa and either integrated with Neanderthals throughout the European peninsula, or they killed them all. One or two. Those are the two competing theories for what happened, but there's not enough evidence to prove either one. It's probably a combination of both, because that's why you do have people in the European peninsula have more Neanderthal DNA than anybody else, because there probably was some interspecies relationship going on. But and there were probably some people who came up like, "Hey, we're gonna take your land, you know, we're gonna kill you." Just like shit, dogs will have babies with other dogs. That's a different breed. So I guess I shouldn't say interspecies. Well, that's interspecies, same species. But yeah, uh, tiger and a lion can have a baby, but they'll also kill each other over territory. It's all in the mind. Why we embrace Western ideologies, archaeology, and that civilization progresses linearly and migrated from central locations, I believe this approach is incorrect. We are and have seen this in discoveries, not accepting like the we are and have seen this in discoveries, not accepted like the Göbekli Tepe, where the further you go back in time, the pillars and the carvings are more advanced. How do you think this applies to our thought process today? Actually, some of the newer information from Göbekli Tepe is showing that actually some of the older pillars are less advanced than Göbekli Tepe, than the ones at Göbekli Tepe. Um, I cannot say the names right now, but some of the as they have expanded and continue to dig in that entire region, and now it's stretching out like over 60 miles. They found some of the older ones that go back to prior to the Younger Dryas are not as advanced as ones that were done 1,000 years later during the time of the Younger Dryas, because that was one of the things that they was questioning was where's the increase in technology. And so by finding some of the older ones, I think it's Quran Tepe. I think Quran Tepe, I gotta reread it again, but I think Quran Tepe is less advanced than what's at Göbekli Tepe. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. Give me the weekend to study the Göbekli Tepe, some of the more recent findings there. But there are some that are older, and they're telling a different story. And it's very, very relevant today. What's today's date? The 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. So it's Friday. Shit. So Saturday's 4th, Sunday's the 5th, Monday's the 6th. Damn it. I was hoping the 6th was over the weekend, because I need to take a drive about 2 hours outside, about an hour to 2 hours outside of Atlanta, so that I can get away from the light pollution. But on the 6th of November is the best time to watch the Taurid, watch the sky and see all the Taurid meteorite showers. It's November 6th. And many of the things they're finding in Göbekli Tepe now are literally talking about the Taurid and events that could have messed up civilization or caused the Younger Dryas, and then melt away quickly the Younger Dryas. But I can't get too deep into it because I've only done like two reads of the more recent information. So I need to do like a couple more reads of it. You give them your money, you're good. You give them your others your money, right? You're under the spell of witchcraft. Exactly. So disbelief developed out of a lack. So belief developed out of a lack of knowing. I would agree with that. My mother-in-law lives with us, and when she is doing her rosary, I turn. You so mean. And the rosary, that's a form of witchcraft. She's chanting out some stuff. That's a form of that would be a form of witchcraft. She's chanting out a spell. High priest, what are you doing? when I come across your profile, you're repeating the same thing, but just adding a different name to it. I would have preferred, High Priestess, if you just put one message out there that said that you do tarot readings or whatever kind of readings, but consistently spamming the same message with the different people names, please don't do that. Oh, I didn't know. So if a tiger and a lion have a baby, their offspring is sterile. I've never heard that part of it. Yeah, I just noticed that they seem like they're spamming. We're not gonna do that. If I see it one more again, they gone. Yeah. There are much better ways of marketing. There are much better ways of marketing than spamming. And I know they're looking at it numbers wise. If I spam 1,000, I might get 10. And so it's a numbers game. I used to teach my salespeople that make 100 calls and you might get 10. Hope you should get 10. Just be willing to make the 100 calls, but don't do that on here. Yeah. If a lion and a tiger have an offspring, will it be sterile? They're usually sterile and short-lived. So not all the time, just usually. A liger or a tigon. Okay. Now, they are usually sterile. Okay. But with all the Homo sapiens with European genomes, they're not sterile. So they weren't usually sterile because their populations increased dramatically. So maybe the closer there's something genetic there that's allows them to continue to grow. To what's the word I'm looking for? So that didn't work the same way if with the evidence of so many Europeans having Neanderthal DNA, then sterilization was not a problem. They didn't have a problem with sterilization or short lives. Oh, Grand Rising Zasum Zasabaji. Zasabaji. I hope I'm saying it right. Zasabaji. Yeah, you're right. I used to be religious, but now I'm not anymore. And if I'm saying your name incorrectly, let me know. If you do it phonetically, I can probably get it. Zasabaji. Zasumaji. It's a Tigon or a Liger. Right, they're not like house cats. They're big predator cats, and they're not supposed to mix. Uh, that's a human thing. Like, who's gonna mate an elephant and a rhino? Yeah, they're not gonna mate. They're not gonna procreate. Oh, ha ha ha! Zasumaji. I got it right. Grand Rising Greg. Yeah, so they're so I'm more inclined to think it's a little bit of both with the Neanderthals and the Homo sapiens and all them, that they just bred them out and killed them, both of them at the same time. But I know some people take that and then they're going to run with this whole negative thing. Why? 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 It ain't got nothing to do with your consciousness. Actually, when you run with the whole negative thing, I think you're showing a lower vibration of consciousness, because you're allowing for cultural history to dictate how you think about the individual person. Now, people as a group are screwed up, but individually as a person, that's a totally different perspective that you have to be able to take and separate the two. I think one of the things that really solidified that for me is when I lived in Germany. To meet the older Germans who were thoroughly embarrassed about the fact that as a people, they just fell in line with the Third Reich. But individually, they knew they was wrong, but they was afraid. They was scared, and they just fell in line. And they're thoroughly embarrassed about that now. Now, of course, I know that part of their embarrassment is because they lost. If they didn't lose, they'd be proud of it. But I realized that individually a person can think. As a group, people don't think. You disagree with me, Renee? Good. I may not feel so good about disagreeing at this point, but I'm glad that I don't like when people agree with me on everything that I say. You shouldn't agree with everything I say. If you do that, then I'm gonna look at you sideways. There's an impossibility that two people should agree on everything. But yes, we gotta start with the labels, because at one point they used to, the Caucasians used to teach that people of color didn't have souls, and that was the group think. So they thought that we didn't have souls. So they can treat us any kind of way, do us any kind of way, all that stuff. Of course, we talked about the Mormons and how even they continued with the idea that Black people had to be converted to white for them to go to heaven. And that we were being punished because we were fence setters. That was their group think. So there were people who disagree with that. So I can't look at it and say, oh, well, Neanderthal DNA, they less human, or they're aliens, or these are things that people have come up with and it sounds good. And we're throwing that negativity towards those people because of the history, not because of anything other than that, just the history. Oh yeah, when I lived in Germany for 3.5 years. I literally forgot what it was like to feel racism. And then I came back to America and I was pissed. I remember being in the Hartsfield airport and I was like, freak, I came back to this country for. I was mad as hell. Mm-hmm. We were no better than the beast of the fields, that's how they thought. Mm-hmm. And we still, exactly, Nikki, Nicole, we are fighting against that same belief system. This is why, like, oh yeah, if Ramsey, if you still on here, if your wife is saying she's feeling pain, those doctors and nurses, they will, if they are still conditioned in that mindset, they will ignore her pain. So do not allow them to ignore her pain, right? Be an asshole about her pain that she'll experience for at minimum the next 10 to 15 days while she'll be in the hospital for 10 days. Be an asshole about the pain that she's going through. Don't let them fuckers try to say that her pain, that she's over exaggerating, anything like that. Because some of the medical industry's mindset is still such that Black people don't feel pain, or don't feel pain at the same level, and that she's just complaining. I don't know if you're still on here, but if you don't recognize what I said in a message, I will text that shit to you when I get off here. Embarrassed, who cares? Ashamed, that shows remorse. Well, I say embarrassed, but they are ashamed. The ones that I met, that I talked to, they're ashamed of it. That's why they don't have monuments and shit like that, like we have in America for the Confederacy. If you want to learn about that time frame in their history, you got to go to a museum or read the history books. And they don't glorify them in the history books either. Does James 5:4 have any significance for us to consider? I don't know. What does James 5:4 say? Yeah. I saw that with Jesse Owens, who said that he was treated better. Now, the Jewish guys that ran with him, they weren't treated as well, but yeah, he was treated better. A lot of the black people back in the day, they left. They were like, "Fuck this, America sucks." I was shocked when I met a whole bunch of black Russians whose families have been there since like the 1930s and the 1920s. I was like, what? Where did this happen? Yeah. And don't let them keep her placenta either. Take the placenta with y'all, and you do whatever you want with it. You can throw it away. I know some herbalists who will take it and grind it up and make it dry it out, grind it up, make it into pills, and it's actually healthier for a woman to take that, to take her placentia, and consume it through pills. Is the most non way, but um, it actually restores her health faster. Yep. They experimented on black women to learn almost everything they know about gynecology. They experimented on people of color, especially black women. There's a monument to the first gynecologist who was a piece of shit. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Michelle just said to take your placenta. Placenta. Yeah, so Rams, I don't know if he's on here. Let me tell his ass. Hey, man, make sure you tell them that you're going to keep the placenta, as well as do not allow them to ignore your wife's pain over these next days that she's in the hospital. Be an ass about it. Excuse me for just 1 second. Because I haven't saw him respond. And he need to get, since she just came out of the surgery not too long ago, he need to make sure he get that. Yeah. And they actually the placentia, they will take the stem cells and they will take the placenta and they'll sell it. Now I didn't know about that, but the German doctors, they did that when I was in Germany. They left the placenta. Placentia is a cigar. So I keep messing it up. They kept the placenta on my children, on my daughter in Germany, because she was premature, and it was like this is going to help her and that sort of thing. And then so when I came to America and my second daughter was born, and they was getting ready to cut it, and I was like, no, 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 don't cut it. I was like, because in Germany they left it on my child, so it helped her, and she got healthier faster, and she's been healthy as hell. So leave that on. I had to make them do that for my other two children. Like, yeah, that's one reason why black people were scared, afraid to go to the doctor for a long time. People of color didn't go to the doctors. Yep, I was in the room watching every goddamn thing. In the second two, the first one in Germany, they wouldn't let me, but I was young, I didn't know any better. Ooh, 20 and 10. What? 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 Who waits 10 years to have another baby? I just playing. That's too long. You got one at the house. You still going to PTA meetings. Hitler was trying to recreate the old Germania that was founded by Heinrich. Its lands were vast and its people were subjected to the Roman rule. And then Franca and the new Holy Roman Empire. Does that excuse him or his followers? Absolutely not. Does it give some context to the point of view of the people? The answer is most likely a resounding yes. And in that, I may disagree with the method, yet understand the mindset. Yeah, the method, and oftentimes that is the problem. It's the method. The mindsets of some of these people aren't screwed over too much, but their methodology is definitely screwed over. Oh, it was the medical industry made so much money during COVID. God damn, Brian, your oldest is 28 and your youngest is 25 and your youngest. What's wrong with y'all? He wants another one. Ooh, mine are 27, 24, and 22. I'm done. I've been done. Been done. Cut the cord and everything. Cut it all. We have no kids. I know a Cuban girl in Miami. Her name was Placencia. And sometimes I used to say placenta. Oh, that's messed up. I'm 135 pounds. That baby would tear. Oh, you are a little bitty one. Mm-mm. No more kids. Almost 6 feet, 135 pounds. Your husband like it. Don't do shit about everybody else. If he don't think you too skinny, don't even worry about it. Now, if you think you're too skinny, that's your own thing. Okay. Eat, goddamn it. Eat some of that good food you talking about you be making. But yeah, placencia spelled differently though. Is Plasencia. Is a very good cigar brand. Hold on. So he must not have been. I don't know if he's still listening, but he says he will do. He's already on it, making sure he gets this stuff squared away. Um, and he understands they tend to ignore black women when it comes to things. Got to make sure the brother's taken care of. Can't have them messing around. I want to have to drive down now. I don't even know where they at. I don't even know where. I don't even know where he's at. Okay, he's talking to them about it right now. Uh, oh, look. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this. That's Ramsey's new baby. Well, I can only get it from the side. The light is so. There we go. Ah, I had it for like a second. Oh, there we go. That's Ramsey's new The guy comes on here, Ramsey Black. That's his new baby. tax. Yep, no, smoking on placency tax. My wife is 37, and my wife was 37 when my youngest was born. Her first child and the first time being pregnant ever, and she was sweet and polite and only got emotional towards the end. Okay, all right, you're lucky. Y'all be killing me with the all cute. He's swole up right now. He might be cute tomorrow. Might be cute. He might be cute tomorrow. So they're beautiful until they start talking back. Hmm. He'll be cute tomorrow. Hold on. Yeah, see his eyes all swollen. He'll be cute tomorrow when that, when the swelling goes there. His pigmentation don't come into Ramsey's is like caramel, like a light caramel, and his wife is like brown, light brown. It was cesarean, so he's not. Yeah, be beautiful tomorrow. Exactly. Uh, Now I have a grandson, 4 years old, autistic, beautiful. He's white as snow. My pops black as an axe. It's the ace of spade rolling his snowy white grandson around Carolina folks. So I would imagine they would be. You got this dark skinned man pushing a little uh, white baby around. I have no kids, sadly, but I do have a divorce. That's messed up. No, actually, I can't stand when they small like that. They can't do nothing. All they do is cry and whine and sit there, and yeah, they laugh a little bit, but they can't do nothing. I can't throw nothing at them. We can't wrestle. You know, they ain't no fun. I loved my kids when they was little, but I did not like them when they was infants. And when they start being toddlers and we can do some stuff, that's when I started liking them. I don't like infants. Infants are boring. Your doctor had to do a double take with your son. They both have blue eyes and light hair. Be like, did we get her the right baby? It might be the wrong baby. Go back there and check everything. Pull up the video. Now I love toddlers. Toddlers, I love teenagers the most because even toddlers sometimes they can get on my nerve. Daddy, watch. Daddy, watch. Daddy, watch. Daddy, watch. Daddy, look at me. Daddy, watch this. Daddy, daddy, daddy. Why? 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 That shit get on my nerve. But when they start getting teenagers, then we can really do some stuff. Have long conversations, deep conversations. Then we rock it. Now this adulthood is getting on my nerves because these little big head jokers, you don't hear from them that often. Yeah, well, I hear from my girls more than that boy. Well, my little man child, he's a man now, so I don't know if I'm gonna like them as adults. They trying to have their own little lives. Yep, they question everything, but I love the fact that they did, and I would try to answer. What would be the best advice you could give to someone that's transitioning out of religion? Study, 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 um, and study with an open mind as far as where you're going to land. Don't allow your emotions to overcome your thoughts, your logic, but you know, control your emotions and surround yourself with like-minded people uh, because you're going to need if you got people who are going there are going to be a plenty of people against you who you care about, So you want to have a good tribe around you of people who are going to support you through your process without those people trying to force you in any direction whatsoever. That's sort of messed up. What about when you were an infant? Shit, I wouldn't have liked me as an infant. I don't like infants. I love them, just don't like them. They're boring. I'm pretty sure I was boring as hell. I'm light skinned when my oldest was born. I was so scared when scared someone would go call the police saying I kidnapped a white child. Her mom was Japanese and European something. Uh, so my baby girl was milky with, with a bald ass head. I could imagine you probably was going, especially you up there in Washington State. Yep, yep. Be very mindful where you get your information from. Research those where you get that information. Yeah, because all the people I've been around, I try to encourage. I try to encourage. They try to encourage me to stay with the religion they feel as though I'm going down the path of the devil. And I would say if you can take if it's causing you anxiety or any kind of stress, then get away from those people. You know, only use them for what they're useful for, which is to take their information, break it down to see how correct or incorrect it is, and move on. But being around those people constantly is going to cause you to go through this fluctuation emotionally, and your emotions can make you make this can lead you in the wrong pathway. It can take your logic and twist the information to fit your emotions. So I would stay in the beginning stages. I would stay away from them as much as possible. I'm glad I stayed away from people debating when I was first going through it. I mean, I would. There were a few pastors that I could debate with, but they were very open-minded pastors, and come to realize that they thought the same way, but were trapped economically in the religion, or they felt trapped economically. No one's trapped. You can get out of it. I would say the best way to be is to learn to go within for the information. Learn how to look within. Start relying on the outward things and give you all your answers. Yeah, meditation is great for looking from within, and then study all of them. Study all the religions. I studied all of them. Well, I ain't gonna say all of them because all of them is a lot. I studied a whole bunch of them, and as soon as I start seeing enough stuff to say like, "Oh, this is fucked up," then I just walked away from that. Okay, I'm good. I studied Islam for a year, and then I was like, I'm good. You know, Buddhism, Hinduism for about a year, I'm good. But yeah, they always gonna try. They got if they're using fear as a tactic, then they don't have anything of value to give you. Yeah, they think that you're the help when you're with your husband and my kids. I call my goons the wolf pack. Yeah. He said, don't debate unless you're being paid. I need to take up that mindset. I ain't debate. How much you paying me? Then I debate. Oh, you've been following me and Kevin for a while. Okay, so you've been on this path for a moment. Yeah. And then that's the other thing. For those that you're definitely going to be around, arm yourself with information that you can utilize if you're going to be around them to stand on your points, to stand on your block. My youngest, oh man, she has the most beautiful grayish, bluish eyes, and the dark curly hair. When she was little, I called her Rosie because she looked like Roseanne Barr in the early '80s on her show. Oh, okay, I know her. Gotcha. Yeah, but if you've been following me and Kevin for a while and you've been taking in the information and then go back and research the information for yourself, then you should be equipped to be able to withstand people that you're around that want to keep pushing it. Now, there's another technique. This probably the best technique. You're gonna go to hell. You're gonna go to hell. You need to. You need to get back with Jesus. You gonna go there. Hey, if that's all you can talk to me about, then get out of my face. I don't want to hear that bullshit. All right. If we can't talk about something else, stop talking to me. I don't want to talk to you no more. If that means you can't be around me, then I'll leave, or you, if you're in my house, get out. Either way, we ain't talking about this. That's one. I don't want to hear it. There was a few people I had to do that to, where it was like every time I see them, that's all they want. Hey, I don't want to hear it. I'm not going into this endless circle with you. I don't want to hear about your hell and how I'm on the path of this, path of that. You know, you're Jesus. When people say they didn't want to hear it, he left. Be like Jesus. What would Jesus do? And especially that was back when the what would Jesus do bracelets was out. What would Jesus do? Oh, he left when when he cast out the legion of demons. People didn't want to hear it. His ass left and went across the ocean or the sea. When he went back to Nazareth, people didn't want to hear it, so he left. Be like Jesus. Leave. Pack your shit and go. You love Kevin Wesley? Yeah, I gotta call him today too, so we can schedule our next video. Grand Rising Christian. Good. And if your children are working on it, you know, be their support, but don't let them grow. Try to let them grow into it on their own or out of it on their own, so that they can never say that you forced them, that you just gave them guidance. You tell them to go get some hobbies. Yeah, be like Jesus. Leave. Oh, I'm gonna tell Kevin y'all say he dope. See? Oki had to leave the thing because his 2-year-old boy wanted to go outside. See, that's what having them little kids do. You disrupting your day. Now, 2-year-old I can get down with because we can go outside and I can throw shit at him. Meaning, like, you know, we can play games. Right? There's a ball. Catch it. Yeah, don't try to curse me. Curse me just because I do not believe or follow your path to salvation. Using the same roadmap everyone. Yeah. Sometimes I tell them, is that all you got? Is that all you got? Because that's a weak argument. Are you finished reading Outwitting the Devil? That was a really good book and very eye opening. Isn't it? Isn't it a good book? You know what? That's gonna have to be a video. That means I gotta reread it again, which I do not mind. Yeah, but we need to do a video on Outwitting the Devil. Outwitting the Devil is very eye opening. It's very uh, it's all mental. It's all, I mean, it really digs into the law of mentalism like a champ. You know, I mean, it gets into vibration and uh, rhythm and that sort of thing as well. Actually, reading that book is where I adopted the term hypnotic rhythm from. So any video you've heard me say hypnotic rhythm, that's where I got that terminology from. That phraseology comes from there. Because it's so clarifying. Yeah, and realizing that you've been a drifter yourself, mm, mm, it made me. I had to do some inner looking back in 2011 when I first read that book because I was like, hold on, am I a drifter? What areas am I a drifter in? So let me figure this out. Yeah, let me hold on now. So, reading assignment. If you haven't read Outwitting the Devil, which I've said many times before, read Outwitting the Devil. Christian just said it's a good book. So it's not just me. I just hate being around Christian. Always got a scripture for every situation. Then don't be around them. I mean, I know, depending on who they are, but don't be around them. Have you ever seen a movie called Marketing the Messiah? It's really funny. Check it out. No, I haven't heard of that one. Marketing the Messiah. It looks stupid. It looked like it's a satire. Oh, it's on Prime. Yep, I can watch it. It's on Tubi, Prime, YouTube, and YouTube TV. Okay, I'll check that out. What time? Wait a minute. It's 1:14. It was supposed to get in the 60s today. Oh, that's not till 3 o'clock. So from 3 to 6, it's gonna be in the 60s. 61, 62. I'm going to play golf today. I wasn't at first because my knee was hurting yesterday. But I'm gonna go test it out, see if it'll work. So we will adjourn church a little bit early than 3 hours because I'm going to play golf today. You can go to YouTube. They have the audio with read along. Right. On YouTube, you can listen to the audio of Outwitting the Devil. I always recommend you read a book before you listen to it because, like, let's say I'm okay, so I'm gonna go play golf. Let's say I put Outwitting the Devil, which I might do. I might let Outwitting the Devil play in my ear while I'm playing golf. But of course, I'm gonna zone out from time to time. I don't know if that I probably have to have headphones to do that because the earbud will probably listen. No, actually, that'll keep my head from moving because I know if I swing my head, the earbud will fall out. So I might do that. Um, but there is the audio on YouTube of Outwitting the Devil that you can listen to. But I do recommend reading the book itself so that you have more focus on it. I follow through the most common practices of Balboism. Mayajo, and Pitskinism. This is probably some bullshit. Not in that order. And it's not my fault. Yeah, it hasn't. Okay, so it's something real. What the hell is that? Well, you said Pitskinism. I'm thinking that's football. Yes, it is nice out. My salvation was finding my wife and having a son, not some demented flesh and blood being trying to be a deity. You know, I'm with you. A lot of people find their salvation once they start having a family. They start acting out. That like I still use it when it says that in the Bible is it's good for a man to find a wife. That's like some good advice. If men didn't have wives, we'd be out here just tearing up society. A man that has so when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. Yeah, because it's not so much about the woman; it's about the mentality of men. When you get a wife and then you start having children, most men calm their ass down at that point. They start thinking deeper into the future. I hope that most men do. I want to believe that most men do. But we start thinking deeper into the future. See, I knew it was some bullshit, Brian. Rocky Balboa, Mr. Miyagi, and football. I knew it was some bullshit. Rocky Balboa, that speech that he gives his son in Balboa, great speech. Great speech. And Mr. Miyagi, great lessons. And football, yes, great lessons. Did you ever play any sports growing up? Oh, yeah. Football, basketball, baseball, wrestle. Um, see, you just say growing up. Of course, I did those. Oh, track and field. And I did about 6, 7 events in track and field. And then later on, I played rugby. Um, I started playing tennis, definitely golf. I used to be really consistent at bowling. It's not. I don't consider bowling a sport; it's more of a skill. But yeah, that's other than the Marine Corps. That's the other reason why this body is all toe up with aches and pains because my body never rested growing up. I was always playing a sport, and if we weren't playing a sport, like at my Aunt May's house, she had a badminton thing set up. So we over there playing badminton like champs. You or had an uncle with a ping pong table. We over there playing ping pong like 4 hours of playing ping pong. Yeah, this body never got rested. Yeah, I'm surprised my shit. They already sent it. I'm surprised my elbows and my wrists aren't all jacked up even more so. Well, I broke this wrist playing football, but even more jacked up from hours of playing foosball. And then I was growing up learning uh, Kung Fu, Shaolin Kung Fu, and then I switched over to Muay Thai. Then I learned a little bit of Aikido, a little bit of Taekwondo, and American boxing. So this thing is it got so many like aches and pains, and then not including all the military fighting training. Foosball is the devil. It's the devil. Father becomes a protector and provider rather than a conqueror. Exactly. I've also learned to learn caution from other people's experience and paying attention to what they went through, and that experience and paying attention to the certain people and the habits they picked up from their experience so far has taught me who and how I don't want to be. Yeah, if you can learn from other people through their mistakes, that is great. My daughter Simone is very good at that. She'll look at her older sister and be like, "Oh, Sydney messed that up. I'm not going to do it." I learned a lot of paying attention to other people's. Yeah, that's one of the best ways. Oh, Brian, the hands are still pretty quick. The knee strikes are still pretty good, but the kicks, nah, the kicks ain't worth shit no more. But the hands are pretty still. The hands and elbows are still pretty good. I spent like a summer working on capoeira, but it uses too much energy. It uses too much energy. But yeah, learning who you don't want to be is great. Yeah, this thing is all. Now, one of the best trainings I ever did, even though I'm mad at them right now, but I trained for 8 weeks with the Israelis and their knife fighting training. That knife fighting training was on point. Um, and I passed, but that was some hellified good training on learning knife fighting. I wouldn't mind learning the Filipino stick fighting too. I forgot what it's called. Oh yeah, but man, at the rec centers for some quality time on the foosball, you know, and we played no spinning, so you had to. Ah, boy, good time, good time, good time, good time. But yeah, I did not want to do that to my kids, so I didn't let them play a whole bunch of sports back to back because I didn't want them to overdo their body. But they never wanted to play the sports that I thought that they were best suited for. Like that was irritating as hell. I don't know. I'm just saying, man. I did it all. Playing football in the streets to playing organized football. I played football my entire life. I didn't stop playing football until I was in uh, until after I left Germany. Still was playing football in Germany. biggest issue with religion is the colonization aspect, the conquering aspect, the elimination of choice, the removal of choice, the cultural choice aspect. That's my pet peeve and nitpicking with religion and Christianity. The removal of and stripping of those things in life. Yeah, see, Christianity probably wouldn't catch as all religion. Most of these religions wouldn't catch as much hell, or you wouldn't. It'd be harder to walk away from it if it was done through evangelism or through um, charitable work, but it wasn't. It was done through conquering and through genocide and things of that nature, which makes it like, what the hell? How can this be about love? And who the hell is this evil ass genocidal God? After that, religion was weird for a while, but the feeling of not burning in hell was like winning the lottery. Yes, once you get that's why we did that video. It was like a week or two ago. Once you get over that idea that there is no hell in the way that they express it, it makes it it's like a it's like a fucking 50-pound pack, and you've been lugging that pack, up a mountain, for all your years, and it's like taking that pack off and walking back down into the valley, you know, and then just chilling in the valley. That's what it's like when you get to that point. It is so much freedom, and you know how like the Bible says in Psalms, He making me lie down in green pastures. It's like that. And even though they say, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of death," there's no death in the valley. Go to a mountain range. All the green shit, all the life is in the valley. The mountaintop is barren as hell. So, it's like being in the valley, just chilling with all the water, the fresh streams that are coming out of the mountain, and the beautiful greenery and fruits and vegetables in the valley. At deers prancing along. Oh, yes, but it is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, there's no charity. They do it for God, for reward from their deity. He's a jealous God. Then you can't be jealous. He says he don't be gay, but a gay man revised it. Yeah, exactly. He did. And you gotta. The God tells you to be. You need to be what I'm not. Do as I say, not as I do. No, I hate playing football in the wintertime. That's when my stats would always. I was just telling. We were talking about that last night watching Thursday night game. My stats went down during the when it got cold. Yeah, I started getting too short for my skill set in basketball. So after my sophomore year, I stopped playing high school basketball. Hell or hell is a Norse for underworld, right? Um, in the Norse, yeah, Hela ruling hell in the underworld, and then of course, Christians take it more from Hades, the Greek Hades. Once that way sent Abraham to kill everyone in some village, uh, in some valley called Canaan, I was done. But mom kept reading this story. How you're a loving God telling us that you're my chosen, you're gonna kill everybody else. They say go into the light, but if we're talking about hell, doesn't the fire illuminate? I like that one. Many have fallen away, written apologies. Yeah. And see, to me, we're not even falling away. We're rising. We're rising above that bullshit. Coach, you seem very commendable. I'm sure you learn. You learn with time, but your children are lucky. Yeah. Um, and I learned during a time frame where we didn't have the internet. We couldn't vibe together. There was only one guy that I knew of who thought the same way, and so everybody else was kind of ostracizing. But my kids, they got the benefit of being able, I taught them a little bit of everything. And if I would show them, and I got this one book where it have a saying by Jesus, the same thing, and that's in the a saying, a Christian saying, whether it's Gnostic or Orthodox, the same thing in Hinduism, the same thing in Buddhism, and the same thing in Taoism. And I would show them how all these jokers talk about the same thing. You have to find your own path, and we have to study and make it make sense. And I taught them to control their emotions and that sort of thing, so that they're just not doing things logically. I mean, not doing things based on emotions, but also don't follow anybody. Follow what is leading you. So they got the benefit of that. Oh yeah, when it came down to killing 30,000 people because they built the golden calf, they wanted to stay in the age of Taurus. He was saying, no, it's time for the age of Aries. Yeah, we all have regrets, Marcus, as far as sports are concerned. I should have stuck with baseball. If I would have stuck with baseball, if I would have got glasses and then stuck with baseball, there's a higher probability that I would have been in the MLB. I never really got into the RH blood types. No, I never took the time to really get into that one. God told me to write this down like schizophrenia. I'm RH negative. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't delved into that one. Into the whole RH thing. Face center with a small line. My shoulders always took. Yeah, I only got up to about 5'11" in high school, and I didn't get to 6 foot till after high school. But I grew fast early, so I was always playing center and power forward. But by the time I get to high school, hell, my damn point guard was 6'1". Our point guard was 6'1". Our shooting guard was 6'2", 6'3". So my happy ass was, and I couldn't dribble or shoot the long ball. So nope, time for you to get out. Well, I couldn't dribble like they could. In the age of Aries, Jesus was known as the Lamb of God, and then in the age of Pisces, he's known as the Fisher of Men. Jesus ain't got nothing to do with the age of Aries, but I see what you're saying though. They use the lamb, and then later on, he's the lamb to connect the two. Yeah, I was much better at baseball than I was at any other sport, and even but I was good at football. I got a scholarship, then messed it up, but um, like bro, stay on the fentanyl. Oh, you 5'4"? I like to mess with people who are like 5'4", maybe 5'5", because I can put my head like I can hug you and put my head and like rest it on your head. This is it's funny to me because I make short jokes all the time. Yeah, the thing about baseball, I can't stand watching baseball. I only like to play it. And yeah, back in the day, if I would have played baseball, I'd have been giving Barry Bonds a run for his money. All them jokers in the home run derby, I gave them a run for their money. Most of my baseball life, I was hitting a home run, but I was a great place hitter too. If you need the ball in a certain spot, I can put it there. So I was much better at baseball. and I could play every position other than pitcher. I wasn't that great at pitching, but any other position on the field I could play. I don't know about an extra vertebrae. That's new to me. Hey man, I'm just calling it like it is. My grandfather, so our grandfather loved baseball, right? And I'm gonna tell you what made me really good at baseball. So I had my uncle Eddie. He was like 5, 6 years older than me. My brother David is 3.5 years older than me. So we was in the backyard. I learned to hit based on them pitching to me. You see what I'm saying? So they're pitching to me, and they're 5 and 3.5 years older than me, which is a huge difference when you're a kid. So I'm 6 years old, and I'm able to hit, pitches from a 12-year-old, 13-year-old. Well, not 12, but like a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old. I'm hitting them. So as I get to 10, they're 15. They're like 15 and 14, 15 and 13. So I'm hitting them. So every time I show up to hit kids my age, I'm killing them. You see what I'm saying? Um, and of course, I'm catching line drives and grounders and pop ups from my older uncle and brother. So I was always playing against them, which made me outshine the kids at my age. So that's what made me much better at in most sports because I was always competing against my brother and his friends, my uncle and their friends. Because I had my cousin Chanel and my cousin Sandra. So I'm playing around, I got girls my age, so I'm going against them. So it made me better. So I'm not being egotistical. It's just you play against the older kids, you get better. Kind of like the boy playing for Charlotte, the ball boy. He's better than his older brothers because he had to compete against them. You know. So by the time I get into, but then my eyesight went bad, and I didn't want my mom spending money on glasses because that was too expensive. She was already working 2.5 jobs to take care of us. So uh, I couldn't. I started getting about 14, 15. I couldn't even see the damn ball until it got close to me, and I got frustrated with that, and I just stopped playing. So I'm not trying to sound egotistical. That's all. That's all. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Oh, South Africa. That's what got me into rugby. When South Africa played New Zealand, what was that like 90? Was that 94, 96, somewhere around in there? After watching South Africa and New Zealand play in the World Cup back then, that's when I went and I found a German rugby team and I started playing rugby with them. And Tongo and New Zealand was doing the hakas out there. I was like, that's some badass shit. So I played rugby for about 3 years. And the only reason I played the outfield because I can run my ass off. And then my grandfather was training us like I was sitting in the catcher position and throw 300 balls at second base, and he had a bucket, and you had to hit that bucket. You had to hit it inside that bucket. And you just throw them. My grandfather was very much into baseball. Oh, that was 95. I knew it was around in there because I knew I was in Germany. Yeah, but to learn from other people's mistake is the best way. But guys, I'm gonna have to get off here because I'm going to play golf. It's 2 o'clock, and the weather is gonna be 60 degrees until 5 o'clock. So I got probably just enough time to play it without being cold. Except when New Zealand plays South Africa, then the haka is kaka. Extreme arm wrestling. I thought about that, and I learned how to do the over the top. and all of that. And it's all in that risk. He's in the Marine Corps. You just try shit all the time. But we are have to get off here because I'm going to play golf and I got to shoot a couple videos as well. So I appreciate you guys. It's been an interesting talk. I just wanted people to understand, if anybody was still struggling going through the process, how we can benefit each other and continue to get better. And live in peace and tranquility within ourselves, because ultimately that's the goal. That's the goal. Finding that peace, and from that peace, you can continue to grow your consciousness and separate yourself from all the stupidity of this gross matter existence. So I appreciate y'all. I'm about to go and that was good. Oh, my back popped a little bit. About to go and hit some golf balls here. Go get my Tiger Woods on. So y'all have a great day. And remember, always, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. And let your minds be clear. Let your minds. If all hearts and minds are clear, we'll call for adjournment. Continue to share the videos and share the channel. Thank you, everybody, for subscribing. And go and like Eat Sip Travel on Facebook. And also, Really Did You Know? So y'all have a great day. Later. Have a great weekend.